Welcome, everybody. Hey, come on in, come on in. First thing I want to say is I'll wait till a few people get on first. But I know it's been a while since I've been on live. That's because I've been working on some stuff behind the scenes that I'm really excited about, and I'll share with that down the road. But the first thing I want to talk about is something a little more personal. And I want to talk about the fitness journey I've been on. I want to talk about why it's important to be in shape, especially being an entrepreneur, because we get caught up in the grunt and the grind and the chase, and we're all trying to achieve success, and a lot of times we sacrifice our health in doing so. But what's the purpose in making all this money and being successful, but then you have to spend all the money taking care of yourself? So I found myself in a situation where nothing drastic happened, nothing like terrible happened. It was just a cognizant thing for myself to really look at where I was, and getting older. I'm over 45 now, so a few people ask me, what have I been doing to get in shape, to stay in shape, things of that nature. So first thing I want to talk about is the journey and how it even started and how I got here. First thing I want to say though is rest in peace, DMX. I got my DMX t-shirt on today because people that know me know DMX was one of my favorite rappers. So I want to send a shout out to him and his family and Swiss Beats and all those people first, because I know that DMX really helped me out a lot in life, especially with his raw energy, his talent, and his ability to, of course, he did some things that were not so savory, but overall, I believe he had a good heart. He really did a lot for the scene. So let me go back a little bit to, I'll go back even this far. I was a pretty chubby little kid up until about 13, 14, when you start playing football, start working out or whatever. So once I started getting tall, 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade, somewhere around there, I really grew up and I shared the chubbiness, but I remember what being chubby felt like. So fast forward into my adult life, I was having fun, partying, chasing girls, doing everything the young men do or whatever. And I noticed that my weight slowly increased. So coming out of high school, I was right at about 200 pounds. So I'm 6'5". So I'm still pretty much a beanpole. But over time, I went from 205 to 210 to 215. Most of my adult life, from like 25 until 40, I was right about 225, 230, something like that. So I was pretty average height, pretty average size for my height. It wasn't really a healthy 225 or 230. It's just what it was. And lucky enough, I was able to hold on to that metabolism for quite a long time. But after 40, everything starts to slow down after 40. So after 40, I noticed it went 225, 230, 235, 240, 245, and it keeps going. But you don't really pay attention to it, because especially being an entrepreneur, because you're chasing your dreams. You're working all day, you're staying up late, you're getting up early, you're eating trash, you're drinking a whole bunch of Starbucks, you're eating a whole bunch of sugar, you're eating all the Mexican restaurants and the steakhouses, and you eat all this stuff. You're really not paying attention to what you're putting into your body. But after a while, your body's like, hey, yeah, I know you're still putting this trash in me, because, if it's trash in, it's got to be trash out. So fast forward to around, I remember the first time I knew I was getting out of hand, I was at my good friend, really my brother from another mother, Eric's house. And this was about 3 years ago. And I got on the scale at his house and I was about 260. I'm like, bro, wait a minute, what are you doing? Why in hell are you 260? You don't play football anymore. Why do you weigh 260? I didn't pay that any attention. So a couple of things I started noticing about, like, I have shortness of breath, or like I will go up like maybe one flight of stairs or 2 flights of stairs and I'd be winded. I'm like, I just walked up the stairs. Why am I so damn winded? But that happened to me a few times. You don't pay attention. You just keep going. You just figure, oh, I'm getting old, and you make excuses for it. A lot of times I would have shortness of breath, and most of my adult life, yeah, I'll say most of it, I had a problem with acid reflux. So people that know me know I like to eat. Just like my daddy, I love to eat. So I would eat a meal, but I would always spend after I finished the meal, the next 30 minutes to an hour, I'd just be burping, just profusely. And I just pretty much accepted that as that's just what it was. I went to a doctor a few times. They gave me what was the purple pill? Nexium. They gave me Nexium a few times. I used to drink this special mushroom coffee for it. It made it go away temporarily. But I knew after every time I ate, I knew that burping and all that kind of excess would happen. And it would be so bad that I couldn't lay down. So if I ate like a late night meal, I'd have to sit up and burp profusely to get all the gas out before I could lay down. But I'm still not thinking like anything is wrong. I'm just like, that's just a condition I have, such and such, so forth. I'll just deal with it. So a couple of times it got kind of bad in the middle of the night, and I had to sit up in the bed and like right in here in my diaphragm, like right below my heart, like my diaphragm would be tight. So it wasn't exactly my heart. It was like more like right up under my rib cage, between my rib cage and my stomach. It would be tight. And I'm like, what the hell? Am I having a heart attack or something? What the hell is going on? So I went to the doctor, and he basically said, you fat. He's like, physically, there's nothing wrong with you. Everything checks out. Your blood pressure's fine. Your temperature's fine. Everything is fine. You just fat. Didn't pay no attention to it. Like, okay, well, I'll work out one day. You push the can down the road. So last year, like when COVID first started, I just noticed my clothes didn't fit right. Like I was wearing size 40 jeans, but it was barely in them. It's like I was barely in those 40s, about to go into a 42. So I was like, I knew I had an issue. And then I remember one day, just riding around in my truck, I hit a bump and my belly just bounced. I'm like, cuz, come on now. This is crazy. This is getting crazy. So I remember, so this had to be like last June or July of, let's just say summer 2020. I just so happened to pass by and I'm renewing I had decided I'm going to renew my membership to 24-hour fitness. I stepped on the scale and the scale said 286. And it's like I came to myself, like the prodigal son came to himself in the pig pen. Like, this is you. This is what you become. You're this big old fat slob that you need to do something. You need to do something about it. And it's not like I don't know how to work out. It's not like I don't know how to eat. I know how to do all that stuff. But I had told myself I'll do it later on down the road. So I got real with myself and like, bro, you almost 300 pounds. Why do you want to weigh 300 pounds? Because at the rate you're going to be 300 pounds. So about this time, I saw my classmate, Mike McCaney. Shout out, Mike. Saw my classmate, Mike McCaney. And Mike was always a smaller guy than me, but Mike had gotten up to 300 plus pounds. And like, he showed me some pictures of him. I'm like, oh my God. So he decided for himself, he got tired of being 300 plus pounds. So he started running every day. So that's how I started. I was following Mike's journey. So I started jogging. When I tell you that first week or 2 weeks, I'm like, man, I'm talking about I would run like maybe 100 yards and I would be winded. So I would walk for a little while, then I'd run another 50, 60 yards. I would stop. I knew at some point I could get to doing it continuously, but if you haven't worked out in 20 years, you're not going to start automatically doing it. So that worked. I kept running. Then I got to where I could go up to half a mile, mile and a half, 2 miles. I got up to where I could run 4 miles consistently. And I started noticing, one thing I noticed is I've never been a sweater. Even though I was an athlete, I wasn't a heavy sweater like at all. But when I started running this fat boy weight, I mean, everything would be drenched. Like I had jumped in the pool, like my shirt, my socks, everything would be drenched. But of course, when I did my research on it, they were like, research is a good thing. So I'd be like, I'd always wear a t-shirt under my workout shirt to try to catch some of the sweat. Everything would get wet. But I started to see the pounds start dropping. So the first time the first time I saw progress was I went from 286 to 280. Just 6 pounds, but them 6 pounds to me meant everything. So once I saw some results, I kept going. I'm like, okay. So I started checking in like every 2 weeks. It wasn't like, some people check every day. Every couple of weeks, I would just check. I would really go according to how my body felt, how my clothes fit. That's really how I would judge my progress. So I remember I got down to 275, 270. 265, 260. And the last time I weighed, which was like a week ago, it wasn't even a week ago, a few days ago, because I posted it on Facebook because I was so proud of it. I was 248 because my goal is 240. So I'm 6'5", so I don't want to be just a big skinny beanpole. I actually want to bulk up a little bit at 240. So once I get to 240, then I'll move a little bit away from the running part and do more weightlifting, which I'm doing both right now, but I'll move more toward lifting then, and may even take up like some jiu-jitsu or something like this, something fun. But what I really want to I want to share the story with you first. And secondly, just want to talk about how when you're in good physical shape, it affects everything else that's going on in your life in a positive way. The first thing is I felt a lot more self-confident. Now, a lot of people know me, I've never really had, let me not say never, but for the most part, I've never really had a problem with confidence. If anything, I would allow people to dumb myself down to fit in. But I noticed a certain feeling of confidence that I'd never had before. And it had nothing to do with anybody else. It was just within me. Like I would wake up and feel powerful. I would wake up and feel like, who is this new person? Because I looked good. I felt good. I could see the weight coming off. I could look at myself and be pleased with what I saw. That was one big thing. I noticed my attitude was better. I noticed I got along with people better. I didn't cut people off. I wasn't so sharp. I was more understanding. Now, I'm not going to say it totally comes from the losing weight part, but I think when you feel better about yourself, then you treat other people better as well. Because the way you treat other people is how you treat yourself and vice versa. I really believe that has a lot to do with it. So the first thing, I got my little note cards here just so I'll stay on track. The first thing was that I really noticed was like the health issues went away. Like I haven't had acid reflux in 6, 7, 8 months. Easy. Oh, just so you know, I started the journey right toward the end of October, November 1st of last year. That's like when I really got serious. Now I got my membership at 24 Hour Fitness in like July, but I still didn't start until the fall. So for those of you who want to know the time, I know Michael White asked me the timeline. So I started like right at the end of October, 1st of November, somewhere around there. And that's when I got serious and dedicated. So the first thing I noticed, like almost instantly when I started working out, the acid reflux went away. Like I haven't had it like in 6 or 7 months. And I still eat pretty much the same. Oh, let me talk about my diet. I still pretty much eat the same. The only thing I really did was drop the sugar. Like I used to eat honey buns, cookies, ice cream, milkshakes. I'm still addicted to Whataburger milkshakes. So I'm still working on that addiction. But other than that, like I dropped the Oreos and the chocolate chip cookies and the fudge cake and the ice cream and the honey buns and kolaches. Like I'm not going to say I'll take zero sugar intake, but if I had to gauge it, I'll say I eat 90% less sugar now than I did then. And I don't even have the craving for it. It's like when I started working out, the craving for the sugar went away. I can't explain it, but it's worked out like that. So I'll have something every now and then. And like even like when I would go home, my mother would cook me those Osgood pie she makes, which is basically pecan and raisin pie. And I would eat like almost half of one in one sitting. She don't even cook those for me anymore because I asked her not to, because I dropped the sugar. Because when I watched her make it, I'm like, the pie is 90% sugar. The rest of it is just filling. Most of that's sugar. And of course, everybody know I love red velvet cake. So I don't even eat red velvet cake anymore. I drink a lot of water. I still probably don't drink as much as I should, but I drink a lot of water, which may cause you to go to the bathroom a lot. But most of my doctor friends said as long as it's clear, you're supposed to urinate if you drink a lot of water, you're supposed to urinate frequently, and that's how you keep the system lubricated. The only supplement I take, I've tried a few different ones. The only supplement I really take is I was recommended a plant-based protein, and I don't know what's in that stuff, but my energy level is through the roof. Like my energy, I have just as much energy at 46 as I did at 16. Like my energies are crazy. So I take that twice a day when I get up, when I go to bed. Sometimes I'll take it before workout, depending how I feel. It actually tastes pretty good. I'll post a picture of it down in the comments if somebody wants that. Just let me know if you want it. So I've been on that protein about a month and a half or 2 months, somewhere in there. And I can tell the difference in the way I feel, my energy, my alertness, my mental acuity. So when I put all that stuff together, I'm just an all-around sharper person. Like everything about me is more clear. Like my clarity is crazy. So it helped me in that way. Like when I go into meetings, I feel confident. I don't care if they say yes. I don't say no. I don't care if they say no. It's either you want it or you don't want it. That's basically how it happens. So like number 2 is I have extreme clarity and extreme focus, which being an entrepreneur is hard to do because there's so many opportunities out there for us. There's so many different things we could do that at the end of the day, you're like, I need to find one and stick to it. Focus one course until successful. That's what focus is supposed to mean. Focus one course until successful. Also, I've noticed that in my business, I'm getting new and bigger opportunities. Like my presence and my this new person that's been activated, or however you want to say it, has brought about newer, bigger opportunities versus these. I wouldn't have probably even tried these opportunities before. But since I'm a new person and I stand even bigger in the same shoes that I stood in before, new opportunities are being presented to me. Number 4, I said I have an elevated sense of self. Elevated sense of self has nothing to do with him, her, or them. It has everything to do with how you feel on the inside, so that when you walk in a room and you have supreme confidence, it doesn't mean you have confidence over everyone in the room. It means you have confidence over your lower self. So every morning we get up and go to that battle. Am I going to be my higher self? Am I going to give into my lower self? That's a battle we all have every single day. So that's one thing it's one really, really positive thing that happened to me on this journey. And I'm looking forward to where that could go. But I just want to drop in and show and encourage you to take your health seriously, take your fitness seriously, because either you're going to be healthy intentionally or you're going to be unhealthy unintentionally. So you need to figure out which one that's going to be. So I encourage you to take your health seriously. I'm not saying you got to lift weights. You got to run. Find something. Everybody's like something different. You can dance. You can salsa. You can do yoga. I think it was Myron Golden who said movement is medicine. Movement is medicine. So find you some kind of way to move around and focus on something besides just making money, because just making the money, fine, you got a big pile of money, but then you got to take the big pile of money over here and pay for your health over here. Why not have them both? Abundance says have it all. So I got a lot more lives coming to you. It actually felt good sharing this. I had a few people inbox me and ask me, what was I doing? How did I get there? So I just thought I'd tell you that that's pretty much what I do. I lift about 4 or 5 days a week now. I probably run 2 or 3 days a week. I changed my diet to where the only thing I still eat the same. I still like all the same meat and potatoes. I'm still a country boy, so I still like that type of stuff. But I also make sure that I cut the sweets down. And when I cut the sugar, the weight just started falling off. So like I said, I'm at 248 right now. My goal is 240. At 240, I'm going to pull back a little bit on the running. And at that point, then I'll do a lot more lifting because I want to bulk up a little bit. But other than that, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. If you got any questions or whatever, you can hit me down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I'm not a health coach or anything like that. So don't take this as health advice or anything like that. I'm just sharing my own journey and encouraging you to start your own.